And hello to all of you, the great, awesome people of the GCSN world.
I was going to say, are you going to take off the home screen?
I did. I took off the home screen. We're here. We're doing this now.
No, we're good. It's up.
Boom. All right. Hello, everybody. How are you today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon? Well, actually, it's not Tuesday afternoon. It's Tuesday night. Maybe where you are, it's afternoon. I don't know what you're doing and where you are. It's your boy, Nick Lombardi. To my right is Mr. Jake Jollymore. And below is, of course, the elite one himself, Martin Lee. What's going on, gentlemen?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Jake, how about yourself?
It's been a wild hour. It's been a wild day, actually. It's been a wild day. From the Miami Marlins shutting down all baseball operations until at least Monday, to getting the raw ratings from last night, all the way to me trying to get ready for this show. It's been a wild day.
It has definitely been a wild day. Definitely a wild 24 hours for the WWE as they begin their march towards SummerSlam. We still do not know exactly where SummerSlam is going to be, but we know it's happening. We have at least 2 big matches already set up. There's definitely a lot to talk about here. And, of course, maybe let's talk about those Raw ratings. Jake, I mean, what numbers are we talking about here?
1.6.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers right here. We got hour 1 was 1.69. Nice. Then after that, hour 2 was 1.68. Not so nice. And then the worst of it, hour 3, 1.46. And now the real problem, the thing that is most horrible with that statistic, and I say a hello to Mr. Dean Yates as he joins us here on the GCSN Wrestling Hour, and I say hello to Mr. Luther as he comes in here as well. The biggest problem, Jake, is it's usually the end of Raw where there is supposed to be the most, extradition for the stories. It's where we're supposed to find out and tease us what's going to happen the following week. And also, that's where we found out exactly what's going to be going on, probably the main event of SummerSlam. So the fact that almost 200,000 people decided to go, I don't care, not great.
At what point do we think, especially after that conference call, that the fans are just shoving it to the WWE at this point?
Well, listen, that's definitely a possibility.
If that conference call screamed anything, if you're an average fan, it's that we don't care what the fans say.
Well, it's that they are certainly not discouraged by the lack of fan viewership. That's what it told me.
Not at all.
Martin, did you get a chance to watch Monday Night Raw last night?
Not really. I saw a little bit of it, but not much.
Martin, do you feel like Monday Night Raw is a must-watch event on Monday night?
Right now, because there's really nothing on, yes, but usually no.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. But what's so interesting is that it should be an emphatic yes, because there's so little competition. There isn't. Mr. Dean Yates is here because nothing happens on TV. What is can't miss? Took the words right out of your mouth, Jake. There were some major plot points for WWE that happened last night. Dominik confronted Seth Rollins, which it now looks like they're going into a storyline with Seth Rollins and Aleister Black. Okay. Asuka lost the Raw Women's Championship to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks and Bayley are now the 5th duo in WWE history to be tag team champions as well as singles champions. Only the 5th. They're in the conversations with Diesel and Shawn Michaels, Triple H and Stone Cold. Big thing. That doesn't draw anybody. How about the fact that we're getting a Raw Tag Team Championship match at SummerSlam? Angel Garza and I believe it's Andrade taking on the Street Profits. No one cares. And the biggest news of all that we are getting, I think I was saying it on last night's show, where is this thing with Randy Orton going? Where is it all leading to? Well, we know where it's leading to now. It's leading to Randy Orton taking on Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. And I don't know about you, gentlemen. I'll ask your guys' opinions. Martin, I'll go with you first. I think it is a shoo-in that Randy Orton wins the WWE Championship. I think it's written on the wall, plain English, plain as day, that it is going to be Randy Orton walking out at SummerSlam, wherever that location is, with that championship. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Drew has a chance to win, but as you said, Randy should win the title because I think they're building a storyline between him with his Edge for the title next year at like WrestleMania, and having him win the title here makes sense if they're gonna do that.
Yeah, that's gonna be some pretty intense long-term booking if we're gonna bank on Edge being ready for next year's WrestleMania, and we're starting it now at SummerSlam. I don't know, Jake. I mean, and obviously I said a bunch of things leading up to this question, but I mean, is it just fairly obvious that WWE is so desperate for ratings they're about to give Randy Orton another title reign?
Let's take a step back for a second. Let's go straight back into what Martin just said. 100%, it is almost all but confirmed that they are looking to put Edge versus Orton at WrestleMania 37 when they go Hollywood, if they can go Hollywood, for the championship and give Edge another run. Now, do I think now is the right time to pull the trigger on Randy Orton? No. No, I don't. I mean, it's always a good time to pull the trigger on Randy Orton. Don't get me wrong. Storyline-wise, having Orton come in and just beat the holy hell out of Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam and take the belt, then we know we're going to get Randy Orton as the champion for how long? 8 months?
Yes.
The hell is he going to do in 8 months with no actual viable contenders?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, because I'm looking here. Dean Yates just made a comment that's very good. It's deserved, though. Orton's the best thing on the show. And I cannot disagree with that statement. I mean, it proves the fact that he's a diamond, because he's in a test of time.
How many Randy Orton title runs haven't fallen flat, though?
I would argue that not that many. I mean, obviously the first one, everyone knows it was the colossal collapse. But, I mean, the Age of Orton time period was not bad. Him with Legacy and stuff, that wasn't that bad. It didn't fall flat. It did what it was supposed to do.
That may have been the only real title reign that didn't fall flat, because the last three I remember, off the top of my head, all fell dramatically flat.
The last one with him winning it over Wyatt, that was, of course, terrible. That was definitely a problem. Now this is interesting. Brandon's saying he just heard reports saying that the idea is for Edge and Orton to face at the Rumble, I guess if Edge is healthy enough, and then Drew to win the Rumble again for a second year in a row, and then he faces Orton in Mania. I don't know if I'm buying that.
You can't sell that on me.
I don't know about that.
So, go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want Drew to win 2 years in a row, because like you can build up another star and have somebody else win it.
Okay, I've been saying that for 5 years now. You can use the Royal Rumble to make a star, a real star. I don't care if you take Grand Metalik and have him win the Rumble. He's instantly a goddamn credible challenger for whatever belt he goes after. I don't care if it's Leo Rush coming back. It is Leo Rush, right? Yeah?
Yeah, it is. He's not coming back anytime soon. But I know.
No, he's definitely not coming back. But I definitely thought I got him mixed up with the singer for a second. It doesn't matter who wins the Rumble. They need to stop already main event talent winning the Rumble. You're never gonna build new stars as long as the already main eventers are winning the Rumble, and then not even main eventing WrestleMania. The fuck's the point of the Rumble anymore?
Well, I mean, Drew McIntyre main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah. And then last year was Lesnar versus Reigns, and Reigns didn't win the Rumble.
Okay, well, now Now, this is Dean makes a very interesting point here, and then I want to get to another comment. That makes perfect sense because it's the perfect way for the fans to turn on Drew quick. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want to make Drew McIntyre the next Roman Reigns, yes, have him win next year's Royal Rumble, this year's Royal Rumble as well. Brian, our good friend Brian, who you just love.
Boy. I can't wait to see. I already can't wait to see this comment. I'm already ecstatic.
I think you might actually agree with this one. Let's see.
Okay.
I think the reason wrestling is not must-watch anymore is because how the show is literally uploaded on YouTube piece by piece. If I don't watch the show, I can just watch parts on YouTube. I believe them uploading on YouTube is actually hurting them. This has been something that I think all industries, sports, and so have always were nervous about when a new medium came to market. What did they say to baseball and live sports when TVs were invented? They said, you're not going to get anyone going to the stadium. Who's going to want to go to the stadium? I can just watch it at my home. I can watch it at home on TV. People still go to the stadium. People still go to wrestling, man. People still go to things when they were able to, when COVID wasn't around. So I don't necessarily know that YouTube is hurting them. I agree that it's not must-see because I can just go anywhere to see what happened, and it doesn't really feel like I need to watch Raw. But I don't know necessarily YouTube's hurting them. That's just my take on that.
I'm going to go 50-50 on that. Hold on. I forgot Impact's on right now, so I'm throwing that on.
Oh, do that.
If I'm being completely – come on, play. If I'm being completely honest, I have a lot more issues with the way they present – is that Melissa Santos talking right now?
I have no idea.
The way they present that information, they don't leave it open-ended when they do put it on YouTube. It's, hey, this is what happened. Whereas, hey, this was a lead up to whatever actually happened. They're not using YouTube correctly.
Well, I've always said that even when they have TV where every commercial, it's just when the match starts getting good, it's like, F commercial. It's like, I get it. You want me to come back, but you just took all the momentum out of my excitement that I was just building up, leading to this moment, and now you took it away. A good friend, look at this, Anthony Matsell. I don't know if Anthony's ever made a comment on here, but he had a great comment right now. Anthony, we love it when new people come in here. The problem with WWE today is that there are zero larger-than-life characters that can attract significant interest. In every era, probably until the mid-2010s, there were stars that had more than just ring ability.
What have I been saying since we started this show? The WWE does not have a single superstar in this current generation that transcends the WWE. And they absolutely need it. They need that type of person to stay feasible to what their market really is. In reality, the WWE has to create the next Hollywood star.
No, I mean, that's what it comes down. It's so funny. The other day I was walking around, I was thinking to myself, who are incredibly mainstream wrestling icons that if you've never watched wrestling once in your life, you know who they are, though. And I think of it. You think of Hogan immediately. You think of Hogan. You think of The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena at this point. Even Randy Orton. Everyone knows what an RKO is. Now, yeah, it's because of a meme and because of Vines, but it is what it is. Everyone knows what the RKO is. AJ Styles, in my opinion, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think he's the best performer WWE has. If you've never watched wrestling before, you have no clue who that person is. You could be the best wrestler. People don't know, the mainstream world does not know who Kenny Omega is. They don't know who Cody Rhodes is. They don't know who, I'm trying to think of other Seth Rollins. They don't know who Seth Rollins is. They just don't. They don't even know who The Miz is. And he's been in the most kind of movies. You want to call him that.
He's got the TV show now. The Miz is breaking out. But he still doesn't transcend the WWE. You don't watch the WWE to see The Miz.
And John Perry, I do see your comment. We'll get to that in a minute. A good friend Anthony again, he says another good comment here. I've been a fan since 2005. I grew up hating John Cena. Now I need him back because he's the only credible person I can watch. Orton aside. I mean,
that's a valid point. We all as fans hated on Cena so much that it was time for him to go. And injuries and age. But realistically, John Cena not being booed out of every stadium, probably, realistically, he'd still be around right now and not in Hollywood yet.
Well, I think it was the fact, well, listen, regardless of him getting booed, he still drew. People wanted, he was the perfect person because he had enough fans that people would still cheer, get excited for John Cena. You always got excited for John Cena because you knew something big was going to happen when he was there. And what happened was 2015 rolls around, all of a sudden we turn around and go, holy crap, John Cena's a really good wrestler. How have we never noticed this before? Wow, maybe it wasn't just the fact that John Cena wrestled amazing people in his career. Maybe it was that John Cena also knew what the hell he was doing, and by the time we started to appreciate it, it was over. He was over the hill. That was it. And I'm just going to say it. He did everything he was supposed to do on the way out. He put over Shinsuke Nakamura. He put over AJ Styles. He put over Roman Reigns. He did what he was supposed to do. Put over Seth Rollins. Put over Dean Ambrose. I don't know what else you wanted him to do. He set you up. He made it. He took a dramatic step back as the arrowhead and said, these are awesome guys that can work with me and they're at my level. And then he leaves and you don't feel that way at all about any of those guys. You just don't. And
real quick, so I just turned on TNA, Impact, and we have Eddie Edwards and Trey Miguel for the Impact World Championship right now. I've watched all of 5.5 minutes of this, and the storytelling in this match already in 5.5 minutes is better than anything we've seen out of the WWE in how long? 5.5 minutes, and I'm already drawn to TNA. Impact. I'm going to always call it TNA.
Martin, I'm going to throw you a question here, a good comment from our friend Dean Yates, and I want to know your thoughts, because this is a hot take he's about to say here. The pipe bomb is the worst thing to happen to WWE.
Man, that's a hot take, but I don't think it is, because the pipe bomb is one of the best things to happen, because it was so amazing. I mean, you can have people come in, like non-wrestling fans, come in and watch the pipe bomb, and they be hooked.
I would agree with you. Our friend Dean is here making a point. He's saying because one thing changed to the ring. It was one thing they changed. One, it changed all in the ring. Two, it was about his promo, not what he can do in the ring. CM Punk was so good on the mic, he made you think he was Daniel Bryan's level in the ring. I'm not going to pretend that's not true, in my opinion.
No, it's absolutely true. CM Punk's in-ring ability was that realistically of what we thought John Cena's was. He's not good in the ring. He's not a good technical guy. He's not a good high flyer. He barely knows the freaking basics of wrestling. But he was one of the best ever on the mic.
I don't know if I agree he doesn't know the fundamentals of wrestling. I think CM Punk knows the fundamentals of wrestling. I just don't think he was God status.
He wasn't good at executing the fundamentals. He definitely knew. Everybody knows the fundamentals of wrestling. I'm not a wrestler, and I know the fundamentals of wrestling.
Okay. All right. We'll fight on that another day. Our man Brian brings up here an interesting point. You can't have larger-than-life characters now because of kayfabe. Kayfabe is over, and no matter what WWE does, you can never have a character larger than life. Rock, Hogan, Stone Cold, John Cena,
how does that make sense?
All became big when kayfabe was still intact. Now kayfabe is totally ruined. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Kayfabe was ruined. If we want to say that the real death of
kayfabe was ruined the day the internet was created. Let's start there.
Yeah, and just because it hadn't blown up until, let's say, the curtain call in Madison Square Garden, it still existed. people knew what it was. I don't know.
I think the WWE's biggest downfall right now is that everything is so predictable and already known by the dirt sheets.
Well, right now it's also very hard because they're taping everything. They're taping everything so in advance because they have.
So before, you could predict the outcome of everything on the show down to what the promos were going to say.
Well, that's because they just became so overly scripted that they were literally just repeating lines.
Yeah,
it wasn't just them reading
but that was the problem.
Anymore. Yeah.
You watch any other company, it's not that predictable.
Well, that seems to be a common trait that people that leave WWE or get fired from WWE talk about. We saw the latest interview with Eric Young, and what all of his grievances were that the system is broken. They want you to be unique and different, but you have to conform to their style, and you have to say what they want you to say, but they want you to speak up about it, but you can't talk to anybody about it. Well,
hold on. This is the thing I'm most excited for. It's Wrestle House.
Okay, well, he's watching Wrestle House now. Jake, be careful, lower that now because we're going to get a copyright claim from Impact if you're not careful.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
All right, that's that. Luther says he's always going to be a true TNA fan. All right, that's always good. Well, how about this? I mean, listen again. Raw had a lot of stuff.
Has Christopher Parks been released from the WWE?
Who?
Abyss.
I haven't heard anything about that.
I've never heard of that.
He just showed up in this Wrestle House.
So maybe he did.
Was he one of the people?
He might have been one of the people that got cut during that day when almost everybody got cut.
I don't know. His Wikipedia still says that he's still signed to WWE as a producer.
Taya opened the door to the house to leave, and it was Abyss in full costume.
Are we sure maybe it wasn't Abyss? Maybe it was somebody dressed like Abyss? The Abyss character is owned by Impact.
His tattoos are kind of, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I can't imagine they let him do that, but it's still everything I'm reading right now says he's still signed with WWE. Our friend Anthony right here has an interesting comment. This is the perfect opportunity to create a new star because of social media. The problem is the only focus on the in-ring ability and then try to mold people into personas that they're not or incapable of being. Find the personality first and work with them in the ring. You need to establish a reason to tune in. You have to establish a reason of interest. Why am I interested in this wrestler? That's an absolute fact.
Yeah, I agree with 100%. I mean, you need to have a reason to tune in because for the past few weeks, I haven't had a reason to tune in. So why should I tune in?
I need to have reasons to tune in, and I need to have motivations. What is the motivations? Why are people doing what they're doing? Definitely something. Definitely a big issue for them. If we're looking at Raw, though, I'll just put it this way: I mean, will Orton and McIntyre be a good match?
Of course,
absolutely.
I think it'll be a great match, which is what kind of sucks because I think that McIntyre has been put in such a shitty position, and United just did all this stuff with McIntyre to have him lose to Orton. What do you do with McIntyre then? What do you do with McIntyre then?
You can't build him back up. There's nobody to build him back up against.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem there.
I mean, and it's messed up because if the payoff is Edge Orton for the title and Edge gets a run, the best payoff means Orton needs to look insanely strong. In other words, he can't beat Drew McIntyre because he cheats. He has to be this sadistic person that beat the ever-loving shit out of Drew, maybe not out of everybody. Maybe he won't beat the ever-loving shit out of Drew McIntyre. Maybe he'll just sneak away with a win. But he's got to win 1, 2, 3 squeaky clean in the ring.
circling back real quick because you forgot something.
Oh.
And it just popped in my head. You said there was a comment from somebody named Jonathan?
He made a point to say that he was hoping. I'm gonna scroll back. He wants to see Nikki Cross beat Bayley on Friday. I guess on Friday night SmackDown, Bayley's gonna be facing off against.
Hasn't that happened already 3 times in the past 5 weeks?
Yes.
What possibly could they do any different?
No. Well, Nikki Cross. Let me put this right. Nikki Cross beat Alexa Bliss last week to earn a shot for the title on Friday.
Okay, she beat somebody else 2 weeks ago and had a title shot 2 weeks ago.
It's
just already played out and done.
It's all repetitive. Just repetitive.
So we're just going to keep having Nikki Cross win number 1 contenders matches and keep having title shots? Because we have no idea what to do with tag team champions that also hold the championships? Okay. I guess that's how we'll do this.
I'm happy they're doing something to keep it relevant at all. I give a lot of props to Bayley and Sasha, who are pulling like almost basically triple duty. If you look at the last month and a half of work they've had to do, going down to NXT, going to SmackDown, going to Raw, going to NXT, going to SmackDown, going to Raw. I don't know. I give them credit for that, but I guess this is supposed to be starting the breakup of Alexa and Nikki. I guess.
Why? You don't have strong tag teams already in that women's division. What good is that going to do? To get them both lost in the shuffle?
Well, also now you just made Bayley and Sasha juggernauts. You just made it that if you beat the tag team champions, you just beat both Raw and SmackDown women's champions.
Yep.
Who's going to beat them? Who? I can't think of one team that's going to beat them.
Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai, because I love them.
I'll reach the camera. I'll reach through this goddamn camera. All the way to freaking New Hampshire.
You act like you're actually that far away. It's a 6-hour drive.
I'm not going to acknowledge that sentence. Martin, go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, the Iconics maybe, but I'm not so sure who could beat them when they decide to drop the tag titles from them because they are going to do it one day, but I don't know who's going to take it.
They can't drop the tag titles until they both lose those actual titles.
Right. How did Stone Cold and Triple H do it? How did that happen? Did they lose the tag team titles first? That was the that team was the 2-man power trip, right? I'm not wrong there. Okay, yes. Yeah. How'd they lose it? What did they do? They lose the tag team titles first?
Hell if I remember.
I don't remember now. I gotta think about that.
Yeah, it's
No, Dean's saying no, they didn't. Okay, so maybe that wasn't the idea. Dean also makes a hot take point right here. He says the women's tag title was a bad idea because there's no depth.
That's so untrue. There is so much depth. They just suck at making women tag teams. The entire women's roster has a metric shit ton of depth, though.
But you can't just. It gets to a hard place because how do you decide? Because basically what you're saying is if you're the women's tag team division right now, you're basically the mid card because you're not facing for a championship. So now you have to keep recycling people who are who are championship material versus tag team material. And then what they end up doing instead is a few people are tag team, a few people are championship, and everyone else is just there.
Well, everyone's just there right now besides Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah.
There's nobody else that's not just there. They're not building any storylines around any other girl.
Well, they're trying to build a storyline. They're building a storyline with Shayna returning and Nia Jax.
That's going to last about 2 months until it gets scrapped.
Well, until they decide who they finally want to push. I don't know what more they think they're going to get out of Nia Jax. They did it. They had her win the title at WrestleMania. She beat Alexa. She did the whole thing as a face. She was a heel. Champ. I don't know. I don't know what else they're looking to get out of her. I think there's a lot more mileage in Shayna Baszler, but that's just me. Something interesting, if we're talking about the women right now, is that on Wednesday, Blackheart's going to be taking on Miss Martinez, who is now a full member of the Robert Stone. Excuse me, the what the hell is his name?
Robert Stone.
Yeah, Robert Stone brand. So we're seeing
Tony Khan Jr.
What's up?
Tony Khan Jr.
He doesn't look a little bit like Tony Khan.
That entire character was based on Tony Khan.
But
the only difference is
he looks like him, but besides that, what else is there to him?
Why is he wearing a suit?
Because it's a brand. He's an agent.
How about glasses that he doesn't need? Tony Khan wears the exact same glasses.
I don't know.
Somebody somewhere, and I forget where, literally point blank said they created that to make fun of Tony Khan.
I mean, I believe that if anything about what he does would be Tony Khan, though.
Make him a hysterical drunk? You're
is
literally just shitting on Tony Khan. Or attempting to.
I don't know, but does Tony Khan have a thing with drinking that I don't know about? Like, I'm confused.
No, he doesn't drink at all.
Right, so then how is it making fun of Tony Khan? I'm confused on where. I get it, he looks like him. I get that whole thing. I get he has the suit. I get he has the glasses. His hair kind of looks like Tony Khan. I get that.
They're making fun of him. They are making fun of Tony Khan. They are taking shots at Tony Khan.
But like when WWE were taking shots at freaking Ted Turner, they were taking shots at Ted Turner.
It's the exact same concept.
Okay, all right, sure. But can I say, let's getting back to what we're saying, Martinez is now part of Robert Stone's brand, which is going to make that whole brand very legitimate now, because somebody who they just spent a shit ton of marketing on and signing her to NXT is now going to be facing, is now going to be representing by him. And she's taking on Blackheart, which I can only assume means Martinez is going to absolutely mop the floor with Blackheart. I mean, that's interesting to me. Martinez's role is interesting. There's a couple of things that are interesting with the women's division in WWE across the board, but it's just too fragmented. There's not an overall feeling of excellence. I don't know. And I thought the whole thing was leading to eventually Bayley and Sasha going after each other, because it all makes sense that they would go after each other. Sasha eventually just getting jealous of Bayley. Bayley of always deciding for the first time, because it'd be kind of a cool flip, where for the first time it's Bayley deciding that the title is more important than friendship, because that's how it was differently before. But now she's champion. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to happen, but then COVID happened.
I don't know. Definitely, we're hitting now the 36-minute mark of the GCSN Wrestling Hour. Be sure to like,
I'm watching
share.
a pillow fight in a ring on Wrestle House right now on Impact Wrestling. It's kind of funny. Like it's crazy. Steve and AC Romero in the ring. This is actually kind of entertaining. And by the way, Tommy Dreamer owns the house, and he's dressed up like a.
All right, can I just if WWE did that though, you'd be shitting all over it. Can we just agree to that?
It's because it's WWE's product that makes me believe that would be shit. This is so far out there, but Impact has been doing things that are so far out there. So you're not going to lead me in one direction to go do another. If you led me in that direction and then you came up with this, I would enjoy it just as much. But WWE hasn't built themselves on this way out of the box bullshit backyard wrestling, which is really what's happening right now. The pillow fight turned into a backyard wrestling match. Scripted, random reality show. The WWE has led me down we are in this exact mode, super serious, blah, 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 blah. We can have a little bit of fun with the Street Profits and Viking Raiders because they don't actually matter when there's actually real main eventers showing up at Wrestle House right now.
I just thought of something real quick.
Yep.
Are they still doing the hacker storyline on SmackDown, Martin?
No, they're not.
I mean, are you telling me that whole thing was really just Mustafa Ali, and then they decided for it to not be Mustafa Ali, and now that Mustafa Ali is here, they're just ending the whole thing.
It's confusing because you have a storyline which was kind of interesting, but then you drop it.
I was very interested by the hacker storyline, in my opinion, for me anyway.
Same here.
I'm looking at the latest stuff here. I'm looking up for some stuff. So because they decided to move Mustafa Ali to Raw, they decided just to drop the whole thing.
Because that makes sense. So Kylie Ray was the referee in this match, this backyard wrestling match. And I still absolutely adore her gimmick. I love it. Probably my favorite gimmick in Impact Wrestling. That shirt is 2 sizes too big for her. It's exact. I love her.
I still cannot believe that AEW couldn't sign her because you had the perfect matchup.
She was signed.
No, she was, but how that whole thing just fell apart, though.
So she had a mental. And this is all reports. I never talked to Kylie Ray. I never talked to anybody on AEW. I don't know, but the reports are that she had a slight mental breakdown and asked for her release.
And then signed immediately with Impact?
It wasn't immediate. It was 4 months later. She showed up in GCW almost immediately, doing a couple of indie dates here and there, but when you need to make money, you're going to make money. Then for maybe even 6 months later, she had officially signed with Impact Wrestling long term.
Right. Because I thought it would have been such a good pairing, her and Britt Baker. She smiles. Britt Baker is a dentist. I mean, so much you could do with that. Too bad. So much you can do with that, but that is what it is. I'm just very sad that the hacker thing is just totally gone now. And also, this is I don't know how many days it's been since Money in the Bank, but let's take a poll. Everyone watching right now, I want you to tell me, did you remember that Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank?
No.
People in the comment section, write it down. Telly, write it right now. Let me know if you genuinely remembered up to this moment that Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank.
And he still holds the briefcase. That's the important part. He actively, because you're Mr. Money in the Bank until the next Money in the Bank. But he still actively has the briefcase.
He does.
Right now.
Yep. Nothing there with that. Now, I don't know if Brandon's just trying to be funny or not. He says yes. Luther says who, which is very funny. I'm going to ask this. Anthony says no. I'm going to ask this question now. Do we want to see Dominik take on Seth Rollins? Do we want to see that match?
Okay. I have a huge problem with this entire ordeal. And I've been quiet about it up until now.
Oh, wow. You quiet?
Why the hell did Dominik Mysterio get to skip NXT?
Because he's Dominik Mysterio.
Okay, I'll ask again. Why the hell did Dominik Mysterio get to skip NXT?
Special treatment, maybe?
Well, it's obvious it's special treatment. I mean, because I'll tell you why. Because when he was up with Rey Mysterio during the Brock Lesnar storyline, people were interested. And it was interesting. Because the one thing that's interesting about Dominik is you say to yourself, is he going to turn on his dad? Because he was there for the Samoa Joe storyline when he was United States champion. He was there with Brock Lesnar. And now he's here with Seth Rollins. And you keep saying, is he going to turn on him? Is he going to turn on him? Oh, my God, is he going to turn on him?
So you're telling me that, and this is just the WWE once again trying to, hey, our watchers are stupid, so they won't put this together. You're trying to tell me that AJ Styles and Dominik Mysterio are on the same level right now and they get to skip NXT? That's what you're really going to try to tell me. So Dominik Mysterio is supposed to be believed to be one of the best in the world at what he does. Because AJ Styles sure is. Having AJ Styles skip NXT made sense. But Dominik Mysterio?
I don't know, Jake. I simply don't know. I don't know.
I didn't expect you to. I didn't expect you to.
I don't know.
I didn't expect you
to. Can't help you here. Can't help you. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. As we come to the 43-minute mark, almost 45 minutes, GCSN Wrestling Hour. Yeah, I don't know. Raw's in a weird place, man. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on with it. We do have some minor. I mean, there's definitely some interesting things happening over on AEW, which is happening tomorrow night. Maybe the last 15 minutes here, we can kind of get ourselves all ready for NXT versus AEW again for tomorrow night. AEW, do we know some of the matches that have already been named for it already?
The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, I think.
Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers?
I feel like that's been done one too many times. Hang on.
I know that the Inner Circle is taking on Best Friends, and it's funny because they have it literally as Best Friends and Friends, which I think is which is them and Lucha and Lucha the Jurassic Express, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I want to look it up. I want to make sure I have it right here. Well, first of all, the biggest thing, in my opinion, what's happening tomorrow night on AEW is Cody is defending his TNT championship against Warhorse.
Yes.
Which is going to be a barn burner, hopefully. Let's go. I'm trying to find it now because I know they talked about it. I got to just find it. Well, MJF is going to be doing some talking with Wardlow at a, quote, state of the industry address. I don't know what that means. What do you guys think?
Some random thing that's not actually going to change anything.
Well, I'll ask you this. Is AEW a victim of hyping things up a little too much?
Absolutely.
100%.
They are pulling a Dixie Carter.
Yeah, no, I actually think that's a fair point. I think they do too. I think they do. I just think that the last 4, these are the big things that's going to happen. It's going to be crazy huge and big announcements. And I'm like, they're not really that big announcements.
All right, I got the match card in front of me finally.
All right, so let's go.
We got Jon Moxley and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Okay.
I'm about that match.
Because Ricky Starks right now is managed by Taz, correct?
Not that I know of.
I thought the whole thing was that he went on Dark and he's now being managed by Taz.
Okay, I don't watch Dark. I don't have enough time to
okay.
that. So that may be possible, and that may be why this is a thing, and that'll make sense.
Yes.
But I just love Ricky Starks, so having him team with Brian Cage, I'm all about it, especially in a match against Darby Allin and Jon Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kenny Omega and a Hangman Page versus Stu Grayson and Evil Uno for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Now this is what happened last week with Kenny Omega? Because I know Kenny Omega the week before went a little nuts, and he's kind of showing signs of the cleaner. What happened last week with him? Did anything happen with him?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch last week, so we're too busy doing. However, for the Dark Order storyline to continue and make sense, you have to have Dark Order win this match.
Dark Order wins the tag team championships?
Yeah, you have to. First off, I think they make great tag team champions. Let's start there. But they're undefeated so far this year. And if you're going to call the Tutelage of Brody Lee as the exalted one, true, they have to win this match.
I'm looking at the rankings right now. I love how AEW just puts out the match cards and stuff. I think that's great. I actually really, really like that. And they just do it. It's not just like piecemealed out. Is the Dark Order are they the number one contenders? Is that what it is?
I don't look at the rankings, so you're going to have to.
All right, so give me 2 seconds. Let me just pull it up because I want to just confirm that before we keep going. All right, okay, here we go. Come on, let's go. Interesting thing is MJF's about to do this State of the Industry address, and he's technically the number one contender for the World Championship. He's 7-0.
Maybe that's what's the state of the industry. Yeah.
I know that Sheeta's going to be taking on, I believe, can't remember her name, but her and somebody else had a match the other night on AEW that was really good. So I think that's why she's getting that match. Dark Order's number one contenders because they haven't fought. They're 7-0. They haven't fought Kenny Omega and Hangman Page yet. So
hey, keeps it fresh, and I would not mind seeing them take the titles. And then we got Cody versus Warhorse. We all know that's a thing.
Cody, I think Cody's going to win that match, and in that case, as far as that goes, how much longer do we do this with Cody, where he has really good matches with people, where he wins and hypes them up and then signs them afterwards? I'm happy he's not lying, so that's good.
Let's back up the train. Ricky Starks was actually signed before he ever stepped foot in the ring with Cody Rhodes.
No, I'm just saying that's what these things are. It's like, he earned his spot here. I get it, but what more are we gonna do with a Cody Rhodes as TNT champion?
I think this storyline, if you want it's not really a storyline, honestly, but this can keep going as long as COVID is going, as long as you don't sign everybody. Give me the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, versus Man Scout Jake Manning. Don't sign Manning after. He doesn't need to be signed. You don't have to sign every single person that you have faced Cody. I wouldn't be surprised if Warhorse doesn't sign.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Jeff Cobb situation.
Yeah, but keep bringing in random names to make this interesting, and then once we get crowds back, have somebody take the title off of him.
How much longer until Mr. Zach or whatever his name, Matt Cabana, Matt Capania? How do you say it? Cardona. I don't know how to say his name. Zach Ryder. It's Zach Ryder. How much longer until Zach Ryder shows up?
I'm gonna guess probably the next. Next pay-per-view.
What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I think this is gonna happen until at least maybe All Out.
Okay. But they keep kind of. I want to see at the end of this episode of Dynamite because they usually then hype up and say what's going to happen next week involving Cody, where it's either we don't know who it's going to be or it's he's facing this person. You know what I mean? So I guess I'll see from that because what I don't like what they keep doing is we don't know who it's going to be and all the fans go, it's Ryder. This is it. This is when he's going to debut. Here we go. He has the music. This is it. We go. And then it's not him. So I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. Our friend Anthony, he's been doing some great comments. If I could give a trophy to somebody, it would be Anthony for...
Okay, you just offended every other person that watches our show.
Let me finish the sentence, Jake. If I can give a trophy to first-time viewers and commenters for giving awesome comments, I'm giving it to Anthony. And
why didn't anybody else? Why didn't anybody else like Brian, like Brandon, any of them?
Because I thought of it now, and they've been recurring, and they're all fantastic, and we love them. Come on, now Anthony's never going to stop coming back every night to watch the GCSN Wrestling Hour, except for next week because it's only going to be on Wednesdays. Anyway,
we're not going to talk about that, but again,
we talked about that yesterday. All right,
yes, we did.
Where do you see AEW in 5 years. Martin, I want to go to you first. Where do you see AEW in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, it's hard to say, but I think they'll still be an amazing company, and they might be at the same level as WWE, but I'm not sure yet. But it's interesting to see.
Okay.
Jake, you go.
So 5 years is an interesting number, predominantly because everybody's first contract is going to run up in 5 years, or in that time span. Most of them only signed for 3 years. So now we have to take into account how many guys do the WWE steal. If we're being completely honest, we know somebody like MJF never going to the WWE. Zero interest. But somebody like Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Oh, yeah.
Why? What's stopping him? He's already got the movie family. He's just doing wrestling because he likes it. Why not get that bigger audience?
Well, he has a very big passion for wrestling. His father liked wrestling. He loves wrestling. So that's
why not get the bigger audience to hone your craft?
I agree with that. I think the contracts are going to be very interesting, because what we also have to remember is a lot of these guys who are signed are also executive vice presidents and are people that are financially, managerially, leadership-wise entangled in the structure of AEW. The Young Bucks are that way. Kenny Omega is that way. Chris Jericho is that way. So how are those things going to go? At some point, I mean, listen, it doesn't seem like it, but at some point, Chris Jericho's not going to wrestle anymore, guys. At some point, Chris Jericho is just going to say, guys, I'm nearing 60. I just watched Last Ride, and I don't want to be that. So I'm good. I mean, the things are going to get very, very, very interesting, I think. Very, very interesting in the next couple of years when all those contracts start making moves. And people are going to start asking for big money. That's just what's going to happen. MJF at some point is going to ask for big money. We don't know really what any of these, because of the simple fact that it's not a publicly traded company. I don't think anybody really knows what any of the financial figures are. But they aren't going to run it like a WCW where Ted Turner was just like, take all my money. Just take all my money. They're not. They're going to be more.
No, the Khan family didn't get so rich because they were just pissing money everywhere.
Yeah,
look at the Jaguars. They refuse to pay anybody.
Hey, they paid Mr. Nick Foles.
And now he's on the Chicago Bears. 1 year into that contract.
They paid him, but not even Jalen Ramsey.
Nope. They won't pay Yannick.
There was
the
a man named
family is super stingy.
And then there was a guy named Mishnu with a mustache. Which one of these guys is the starting quarterback in 3 years?
You have Nick Foles or a guy with a mustache?
A guy who beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, or a guy with the mustache? And it's the guy with the mustache who basically looks like Budenhagen. We're going to pretend he doesn't look like Budenhagen. I mean, come on. Oh, Lord.
But we digress here on the GCSN Wrestling Hour with 4 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go. Now, I want to reiterate from yesterday. The higher-ups at GCSN have come to us. I love saying this because we are the higher-ups at GCSN.
We are the machine, Jake. We're the guy. We're listening to Bulls on Parade as we drive to our corporate jobs, Jake. Stop it.
So the higher-ups, the hierarchy of GCSN, we'll just call it my wife, so we have a bad guy, have decided.
You said it, not me. Go ahead.
She heard me. Guys, mission. She heard me. I might die tonight.
His feet might just go out here. But you finish the sentence of what you're saying, just to remind the fans here, who are watching us right now, what's going on.
As of next week, we will have different sports, different shows, different nights. The GCSN Wrestling Hour, as of right now, will be from 8 to 10. It will be our only 2-hour show on Wednesday nights. Now, if you want more of us, you got to let us know. You gotta tell us that you want another day of us.
You gotta write your senators. You gotta write your congressmen. You gotta write your
You gotta let the hierarchy know that you want more wrestling talk.
But with that said, though, Jake, we do encourage everyone who watches the GCSN Wrestling Hour to view all of the new content. We're going to get a baseball show. We're going to have a basketball show, a hockey show. Of course, our good friends at Talk Interference Sports will be live every Saturday. Our great friend Gavin over at Circus Monkey Sports will be live every Sunday. There's so much There's so much content here, Jake. And nothing, I will argue that us going 2 hours on Wednesdays only makes us must see. Because you don't get us every day. Wow. You see that, WWE? We've just made ourselves more must-see than Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
A little sad, isn't it? A little sad, isn't it? I guess it might be. Well, we now are coming down to the final 60 seconds. We will remind you that while we just said what's happening next week, this week, tomorrow and Thursday will be the normal GCSN Wrestling Hours. Tomorrow, of course, is our 2-hour special. Make sure you watch it. We're going to be watching NXT and AEW. Yes, Anthony, we love baseball. Guess what? If you love that baseball show and you love us.
Anthony, maybe if you send a message to the GCSN page, we can see about getting you on as a co-host. We're still looking for one.
That goes to anybody, Anthony. Anybody who's
we're looking for co-hosts for all the shows right now. There's going to be a whole lot of my face. This guy's no. That guy's face, and Talk Interference Sports, Nick's face. So you're going to see a lot of us. We're looking for other guys to fill those gaps. So if you're interested, feel free to message the page, and I'll reach out to you on my personal page.
Well, with that said, guys, this man is Jake Jollymore. This legend down here is Martin Lee, and I'm Nick Lombardi. We'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT and AEW, the GCSN Wrestling Hour. We'll see you then.